take control of your mind and your thoughts and focus on your breathing. Feel the power of you, the real you, controlling your breathing. The real you is always present right now. You are more powerful than you can ever begin to imagine, because you get to focus on the greatest gift ever. Now, your presence, where your attention is being drawn to now, no matter what's going on outside your mind. Feel the power of your breathing. There are astronomical numbers of things going on in one breath. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful your determination is. So let's use that power. Let's use that third eye, that mind's eye that we all have. Let's use it right now. And let's see ourselves doing the best we can on all the stretches and exercises today in our gym period. Gym. G-Y-M. Grow your mind. And here we are in the gym of life. Growing our minds and growing our bodies. Taking control of what we truly are. Simply being. Human being. The most powerful energy thing in the universe. That's who you really are. So see yourself right now. See it in your mind. Because whatever you see in your mind, you can make real with your eyes open. Everything created with your eyes closed can be made real with your eyes open.
Get ready for your Fit 711 home workout powered by Fit 711. Let's get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Are you ready to work out? Are you ready to work out?
Let it drop now, 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 let it drop now.
Solo te quiero lejos de mí. Sé que no sabes de mí y no te puedo mentir. Lo que dicen en la calle sobre mí y no te voy a negar. Pero encuéntrate, otra vez y no te voy a negar.
The shoot again! Oh, what an incredible goal! Wow! Ruben Neves
Morning, guys. Today we're introduced to Conor McGregor, and he introduces us to the idea of having the courage to speak up. So let's try that today in our day. Let's start speaking up for what we really believe in, what we really want out of life. And he goes on to give us his experience and says that in his life, as he has spoken up, as he's become more vocal about what he really feels he loves doing and believes in, the law of attraction has worked for him. He has become that magnet of everything he's ever wanted in his life. And Conor McGregor's record speaks for himself. You can look him up and his record in MMA history. But how can we apply this to our life? How can we be more vocal with being courageous to speak our truth, what we love, what we're looking for, perhaps just being the best human being we can be? Let's do that today. Have a great morning, everyone.
Today, we're going to talk about the way that I look at mindset and resilience. So here's the big thing. Our mindset is included within who we are and our identity. Now, I'm going to extract for you guys something that I talk and walk through called the Slower Go Identity Grid. And the Slower Go Grid's going to let you see in a simple way, like where you stand right now. Some of you might have heard it before. Maybe you've taken the quiz. Maybe you've not. And hopefully you haven't all heard of it, because that'd be kind of like, oh, I'm going to do the same thing. But I promise, even if you have, I'll give you a little bit more depth to it. So here's what I want you to grasp. We all have the clear understanding of what a mindset is. However, sometimes we may not understand the inner workings of it or who we are with it. And so we're going to break this down today. I'm going to show you how you are essentially one of 4 different kinds of identities harboring certain mindsets. Now, as I tell you this, I want you to grasp, it doesn't really mean that if you see one that's like not perfect, you say like, oh, it sounds like me. It's not the end of the world. That's the beautiful part about who we are. We can always adjust and grow and change, right? We have neuroplasticity in our brains. We can learn new things. Yes, you can teach an old dog new tricks, no matter what they say. There's a Netflix show I saw about it, just so you know, like really, you can actually teach an old dog new tricks. But we're going to actually teach you guys some cool things. So let's get into this without me talking about it all day. We're going to go over this. Now, in our lives, we always have these different aspects of opportunity and opposition. And to be quite honest, they have this intersection point. They always meet each other if you think about it. There's always this opportunity of something. There's always like but it ain't perfect, right? And I find that as we go through things, we're always trying to figure out like, okay, where do we stand? What do we do? And how do we make the next moments of our lives better? However, how we show up in those moments, those defining moments, those will determine how the next moments are better or not. And so now I'm going to talk you through 4 different types of mental framings and identities that have mindsets to them, right? Of how they think. And I want you to figure out which one you are. So the first one we're going to talk about is a dreamer. Now, think about opportunity and opposition. Now, if I'm a person that when opportunity comes to pass and I sit there and I look at it and I go, oh, it'd be amazing to chase the opportunity, but I go, oh, I don't know if I should, and maybe I can, and I stew on it for too long. What happens, opportunity? It leaves. When I was in college, my college coach, he says, hey, if our opportunity comes knocking at your door, you better open the door, pull him inside, sit him down, get him dinner, make him stay a while. Because if he leaves, we don't know when he's coming back around again. And so the idea is like when opportunity comes, how do you handle it? And some people, we get so apprehensive, we get so processing, we get to the point of just paralyzation by overanalyzation that we don't take opportunity and actually capitalize on it. And at the same time, these same people, they're not really good in opposition. Like when something pops up and rears its head, we question ourselves. My mindset goes, I don't know if I can, if I'm capable, if I'm smart enough. And so what ends up happening is I go, oh, I don't know. And then I end up moving myself back. I find ways to reverse my path. I will make excuses. I will procrastinate. I'll call myself a perfectionist. I'll say, I'm a perfectionist. No, you're just scared of putting it out there. Let's be honest, right? There's this aspect of like the opposition. It makes me feel scared. So what do? I'm always telling people about my dreams. I'm dreaming about this. I'm going to do this. I can do this. I can create this. And an opportunity comes, they go, why didn't you take advantage of it? Oh, well, this happened and I didn't have enough time and I was too busy, or, I didn't know much about it, or you make excuses. And no matter what the excuse, good or bad, it still is an excuse that's stopping you from getting what you want. So that's the first one, a dreamer, someone who doesn't go in the space of taking on opportunity because they're fearful, and those who are not good at tackling opposition. Now, the next person is called a dabbler. A dabbler is someone that says, look, when an opportunity comes up, I'm taking it. Yeah, put me in, coach, buy all the Dogecoin and the different Bitcoin thing. I'm buying all of it. Let me go do it, right? And then maybe it's not that, but maybe there's opportunities that come rise and they go after them full speed. They invest in these things. They buy these things. They go and start these processes. They do stuff, but here's what happens. The moment opposition comes, they shut down. It's too hard. I don't know how to do this. I'm a little bit fearful. I'm scared. And what I do is I pull myself away. I may have started down that path. The moment it got hard, I stopped my progress and I stayed stagnant or went backwards. This happens for a lot of people. They try I want to do live streams and I want to do webinars and I want to write this book. And then I go, it's opportunity to do something. And all of a sudden it gets hard and I go, oh, I don't want to do this. I pull away. And these are what we call the dabblers or shiny object people. Sound familiar? A little bit, maybe. You might even be able to say, that sounds like me. I try things a lot. I'm excited about new things. And people are like, they're around my life. They'll maybe consistently see I'm always excited about something new. Every week it's something new with you, Karen and Susan and Nick and Sean and Sherry. It's always something new with you. Yeah, it is something new because you're a dabbler. Now, again, not the end of the world, but at least maybe you know who you are. And we'll talk about how to be able to make these shifts quickly, the mindset and the identity. The next one, the defender. Now, they, in the past, have taken some opportunities because we don't take no opportunities, right? We have taken some opportunities. And then what happens is I step forward and I go, look, I'm gonna have some success. I've had some success and I'm really good at tackling opposition. If it rears its head, I'm shutting it down. I'm gonna knock it out. I got this covered. However, if a new opportunity comes to pass, I'm very, very apprehensive because it could take away from my current success. This is the undefeated boxer. The person who's always had a great business, never lost a client. These people, they will not take opportunity because what if it sullies up what I've got? And so what they do is they live a stagnant, boxed in life. Brennan would call it partly the caged life, right? Because now what happens is I've had this success and I don't want any of this to go away. So I don't want anything to come in and possibly mess this up or make me look bad. So I don't want to be embarrassed. So I don't take advantage of new opportunities. But if you, lo and behold, if you ever decide to take away what I already got, I'm fighting you for it. Don't you dare say I'm not this or not this or not this. I'll fight to hold my space, but I won't fight for more, right? There's a difference, there's a separation. And so that's a defender. They hold their ground, they stay their pace, and they watch life, unfortunately, pass them by. And it sucks. I know people like this. They're like, no, I got this. I don't want to do anything. I'm like, oh, but you could have done this, and I'm happy. Yeah, but there's always a level of happy above the level you're at now if you choose to seek opportunities. Now, the fourth one, which is the one that I have a belief that a fair majority of you 100% have to have a piece of at times. And just keep in mind, we have multiple identities and mindsets that sit in different spaces. So if you happen to be one of these, you can be like, hey, I'm a dabbler. You may not be a dabbler everywhere. You might be a dabbler in work. You might be a defender in relationship. I would hope that you are, because a defender in relationship means you're great in the one you're at. You don't want to seek more opportunities. You know what I mean? Like that's not a good thing. Don't do that. But you might also be a dreamer in the aspect of hobbies. Like, I want to go be a skydiving coach. No, I don't. But that could be a dreaming idea, right? You see what I'm saying? Multiple identities. So I believe in your personal growth, a lot of you guys fit into this space right here. It's called a doer. So a doer is someone that says, look, I love opportunity. I seek it out. I want to find out what's new. I want to read the books. I want to get into the programs. I want to join Growth Day. I want to do it all. I want to try it all. And here's why. Because you know that if you chase down an opportunity, inevitably there will be opposition. But within the opposition, you have the ability and you know you'll take it on. You'll go fight hard. So you're like, I'm taking it on because I know if I go in this opportunity, I'm going to keep going because I handle opposition well. And then you know that if you face opposition, it's okay because here's the truth. What high performers and growth dayers, I know you guys know this. If you are a person that can handle opposition, you know that opposition, when overcome, creates new opportunities. Every time. I don't care who you are, but if you have a problem and you solve it, you have a new set of tools, which means a new opportunity has placed itself in your life. It's literally how it all, I tell people that when you're in the realm of like what I do, coaching, my job is to create new problems for you. What do you mean, Anthony? Well, if I solve the problem and help you be happier, more joyous, maybe make some more money, well, now you have a new problem of, okay, what do I do with my taxes? What do I buy? What do I invest? You know what I'm saying? It is new problems. Interesting way to look at it. But those who are doers, they will go after opportunity or go after opposition because they know it actually benefits synergistically. Now, there's different levels of doers. In my experience, we don't like hanging out with dreamers. I don't want to know what you're going to do. I want to know what you've done. And it's not a bad thing at the end of the world, but just be aware of this, right?
Good afternoon, guys. How's it going so far? Have you had an opportunity to speak up and show courage about how you really feel or how you could possibly help someone else? If you haven't, the day's not over. You know what I'm going to say. It's believe and determination in yourself. So believe that you can speak courageously about how you're feeling, and then show that spirit of never giving up and go back at it again. See if you can find that opportunity where you know you could have spoken a truth that would have helped the situation, and maybe go back at it again. If not, think about a future opportunity. Think about how you will feel, how good it will feel when you're able to speak courageously about how you feel. And remember, everyone deserves the truth of how you feel, because that is real. And that's what everybody wants from you, as hard as it may be. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
I think we're living in such an amazing time right now. I mean, if you are not being challenged in some way in your life, you're not alive. And all of this is an initiation. And I don't believe that you have to go to any school of ancient wisdom perched in the Himalayas or for information or training any longer. If you see your life as the school, as the initiation, then you can no longer be a victim to your life. You're going to have to meet the challenges in your life from a greater level of mind, greater than the mind that created it. And so There have been plenty of peer-reviewed articles on the power of peace-gathering projects. Lower crime, that lower trauma, incidences of death and economic growth. It's all related to what's happening right now for us. And it's not enough, though, for us to just focus on peace and expect the world to change. Because in the peace-gathering projects, when the event was over, a lot of the crime and violence returned back to its ceiling level again. It's more important for us not only to embody that peace and feel it, but then to demonstrate it. And when we begin to demonstrate it, I think we give people permission to do the same. That means that we can't be preaching peace and then be stuck in traffic and, flipping people off, or you don't get to stand up for peace if you have conflict in your life. So when we start that self-contemplative process of looking within, and instead of judging someone or something, look to see if there's an aspect of ourselves within that person or within that situation that we may need to change. And if we're all doing that at the same time, something greater, a greater consciousness is going to emerge. And so I believe that it should never be about a person. It should be about principles. And when we stand up for principles, that creates community. Because you could be one belief or another belief, but if you're sharing the same principles, which are joy and freedom and cooperation and connection, that's what builds communities. So then, everything in our world right now is reminding us of separation. Whether it's war, whether it's violence, whether it's political deceit, whether it's prejudice, all of those things cause us to live by those stress hormones. And when we're living in that state of survival, we're not trusting, and we become more selfish. So then, starting our day asking ourselves, what would be the greatest expression of myself I'd like to present to the world? And then making the choice to not get up until we are that person, I think that begins to demonstrate greatness. And when there is adversity and when there are challenges in our life, the question, of course, becomes, how do we become supernatural? And that means we're going to have to do what feels unnatural at first. When everybody else is in poverty and lack, that's the time to give. When everybody else is in fear and vigilance, that's the time to show courage. When people are angry and hating and prejudiced, that's the time to show compassion. When people are competing to rush to get to the top, that's the time to change your energy and draw the experience to you. And if you keep doing what's unnatural over and over again, sooner or later, you're going to become supernatural.
You have to decide whether you are going to live an intentional or accidental life. Do you want to live an intentional or accidental life? Most of the world lives an accidental life. Most of the world, they wake up. What do you do when you first wake up? Check your phone, right? You set some alarm because you have to drive to some job that you hate. You check your phone, and immediately there's all the crisis out there, all the expectations on you, all of the fears and judgments, all of the tasks that other people have set for you. You wake up like an accident and start living according to other people's demands for your time. You've already lost complete control of your day. What if, though, you swapped it and said, I want to live a more intentional life? What does it even look like? What does an intentional life look like? Well, I think it starts with a value. If you were to think about what is your most important core value, what would you come up with? Right? I've written 2 books on it. Your One Word, Built to Serve, back there. You can figure it out. Mine is believe. I want to spread more belief in the world. What is your most important core value that you want to organize your day around? Instead of responding to other people's emergencies and losing complete control of your day, how about we organize with intention for how we want to show up today? Okay, well, that sounds great. So how do you do it? Well, I'm going to give you a couple tips that I use in my life that I think can be valuable for you. Number 1, your morning routine is so critical. You've heard it over and over and over and over again from multiple people. Morning routine, morning routine, morning routine. What's the difference between a incredibly powerful morning routine that allows you to be supernatural and do the things that are beyond your comfort zone and are not by default in you yet, versus just a regular morning routine? The difference is the feeling. This is what most achievers miss. Okay? Most of the world doesn't have a morning routine with intent. Most of the world wakes up, falls into their day, responds to the people's emergencies, hate their life, hate their day, look back on the week that just happened. If you ever felt like you've put so much work into this week, right? You look at the end of the week, I worked so hard this week, but I got nothing done. You ever feel that way? Why? Because you're responding to other people's emergencies instead of actually doing the thing with intention that you should be doing. Okay? So the purpose for achievers of a morning routine is to get the feeling. The goal is not just to wake up and do your workout or do your meditation or do your prayer or whatever the thing is that's on your list, right? We're great as achievers at checking off the boxes, right? Check, 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 check. I did it. Awesome. Pat yourself on the back. You feel good for checking off the box. But if you do not feel bold, powerful, confident, courageous, belief in yourself to start your day and have a great day, then your morning routine is not working for you. More important than the task you get done is how you feel about yourself and ready to start the day. Some people, what they need to do is actually tweak their morning routine. And some people, what they need to do is, this is more likely the case, you actually have a good morning routine, you're just not doing it with the right focus and intention because you say that you're going to watch a video to get inspired. Great, perfect. But while you're watching a video, you're brushing your teeth and you're making your lunch and you're preparing your coffee and you're doing a million other things. So you can check the box to say, yep, watch the video, but you didn't get the feeling. And so it doesn't count. You need to feel bold, courageous, powerful, belief in self, ready to start the day and have an amazing one, or you have to go back and fix your morning routine or do it again. Starting your day to have intention, to do crazy, new, amazing, big things. It begins with a powerful morning routine, okay? Number 2, look at your calendar and think about how do you want to show up today? The most important part of my morning routine, I'll wake up, I put on some music. Usually the first thing I play in the morning is oldies. Play some really, I don't know, the oldies just get me going in the morning. Any song that kind of gets you moving, gets you flowing, gets you out of your state, because we all wake up kind of tired, lines on your face, etc., right? But then what song can you put on? Because it's the fastest way to change your state. And then I look at my calendar. I look at my calendar and ask myself, how do I want to show up for today? Instead of having a bucket list, I think your bucket list is your excuse list. Things that one day you're going to get done. Forget that. I'm getting stuff done today. You're getting stuff done today. Your bucket list should be in your calendar. You're working towards actually achieving things. And so look at your calendar for today. Look at your calendar for the next week. How do you want to show up? So this morning, I wake up, I put on my oldies, and I'm looking at my calendar. And this is a Tuesday for today, and I'm filming YouTube videos on Tuesday. Tuesday is a day that I film my content. So how do I want to show up? I want to show up present. I want to show up and make some of the best videos I've ever made. I may not achieve that objective, but it's my goal. It's my intention to show up. It's less important like, did you get the result today, and more like, are you proud of the effort that you showed up today? I don't want to focus on team. I don't want to focus on emergencies in my email. I don't want to focus on social media. I don't want to delay and procrastinate. I want to get content out for you guys. Believe Nation, let's go. I want to show up even though I'm just standing on my trampoline alone by myself in my office. I want this message to reach millions of people. That's the intention. That's when I wake up, I got my oldies playing, and then I'm looking at my calendar and say, this is how I want to show up. Most days, I don't remember what day it is when I wake up. I had no idea that today was a Tuesday when I woke up. I put on my oldies, I look at the intention, ready to go. That does not have to take a long time. This doesn't have to be a 2-hour morning routine. You could be great at it. You're just not going through the actual exercise to ask yourself, how do I want to show up today? So look at your calendar. It's a good exercise. Think of what's coming up in your calendar today, what's coming up for the rest of the day before you go to sleep. How do you want to show up? How do you want to show up in your business or at your work? How do you want to show up for the people that you work with? How do you want to show up for your family? How do you want to show up? Because when you set that morning routine, right? Step 1, create a powerful morning routine that makes you feel bold, confident, powerful, alive, belief in self. And 2, as a part of that, having the intention for how you want to show up. Imagine if every day for the next year, you did just those 2 things. Powerful morning routine that makes you feel bold, powerful, courageous, right? And 2, you set an intention every morning of how you want to live today. Whether you achieve it perfectly or not, but you did that every morning. Imagine how much different your life is 1 year from today. Just by doing those 2 things. It's transformative. And then step number 3 is in between the activities during the day, remember your intention. I have a background on my cell phone. It says, remember your intention. So anytime I look at my cell phone, it's remember my intention. Remember your intention. Remember your intention. What was my intention this morning? Belief. I want to spread more. I want to make amazing YouTube content, amazing videos for you guys, Believe Nation. Remember the intention, because no matter what happened in the morning, you might forget it. Come noon, come 2 o'clock, come 4 o'clock, come 6 o'clock. You need the reminder of your intention. So I have it on my cell phone background. The other thing that I do is I will book things in 25 or 55-minute increments. So if I'm filming blocks of content, if I'm doing meetings with people, if I'm doing training events or seminars, there's always a 5-minute break from when I stop one activity to when I start the next activity. And one reason for that is just to make sure if there's any technical issues or one thing runs late or etc. I have a little bit of a buffer. But the more important issue is that it allows me that little window to reset the intention for the next thing. So especially if you're switching tasks, you're coming home from work and you're going home and you're gonna see your spouse, you're gonna see your kids, or you're switching from one meeting to a next, you're switching from a meeting to making a video, or switching from video to writing your book. You're switching between tasks. Give yourself a little 5-minute window to just remember the intention again. It totally changes how you show up as a human. If you are going from work to home, even if that's my studio here is in my home, right? Even if I'm going from here to outside the door. If I give myself a 5-minute break in between activities, from stopping filming to then going and hanging out with my wife, and I ask myself, remember your intention. What was your intention for today? Okay, belief. How do I bring that to Nina? How do I bring that to my relationship? Even though I've just made all these videos and my head's going a mile a minute and I'm so excited for all the content that we're producing and making and launching. Amazing. How do I now show up for my relationship? Just that 5 minutes. It doesn't even have to take 5 minutes, but just asking the question resets the priorities, takes you off of living on autopilot and living in intention. It changes how I show up to when I'm going to go out and hang out with Nina. So do those things. Your life will dramatically change. Powerful morning routine. Set your intention every morning, and then have little breaks to remind yourself of what that intention was throughout the day. Whether it's your cell phone background, whether it's 5-minute breaks in between switching tasks. If you can decide that you want to stop living an accidental life, stop living a reactionary life based off of other people's priorities for your time, controlling your agenda, put up a little bit of defenses and walls to say, no, this is my time. This is my life. I'm going to start living it with intention. You do that, everything changes. I promise you. Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Blah, 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 blah.
Angel Di Maria. Olímpico against Nimes Olympique. Can still make something of it here. Here's Castro.
Good evening, guys. How did it go today? Were you able to have at least one opportunity where you were able to speak up and share what you really love or what you're really passionate about, or how you're really feeling? Well, if you did, great. If you didn't, that's okay too. Just the fact that you are thinking about it and aware of how important it is to speak up courageously is already a step in the right direction. And I just want to share with you in my life how liberating it has been for me to really pursue the things that I love and to be truthful about that with the people around me. It's so important yet so difficult, because for many times we fear the consequences. We fear the losses, how we're going to make people feel. But in the end, we're all made of truth principles, and we all deserve that. And I can tell you how great it feels when you have those difficult conversations. I hope this helps you. Have a great evening, everyone.
We have to use the circumstances that we're living in as an opportunity to go further in our own personal development. To truly manifest means that you feel good. Feeling good means your energy's free, you're inspired, you are receptive, and therefore attracting towards you what you desire. So if we're in a place now where we feel like we're out of control, we're trying to get control, we're in the opposite of that manifestation state, which I refer to as being a super attractor. We're no longer connected to that power. So the way back to that power is to put our personal growth first, to get back, not go out and try to force anything or do anything out there to find control, but to turn inward, to go deeper and identify what's unresolved, work out what needs to be healed, bring forth to the surface the truth of what's up so that we can show up for it, and get back to a baseline of feeling safe, a baseline of feeling joy, a baseline of connection. Rather than thinking that I have to go get control over something, we have to return to who we are.
Need motivation?
Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I was making $300 a month. I quit on my business partner, and the thing that saved me was studying the stories of super successful entrepreneurs. So I hope that this story today helps give you the motivation you need, because I still need it too myself.
So today, let's learn from one of the best, Gabby Bernstein, and my take on her top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, believe.
We will manifest what we believe. There's a big but here. We often have an idea of what we want to bring into our life, have a vision of who we want to be, have a desire, but the biggest thing that's blocking us from stepping into that truth is the belief. I was literally backstage just now with somebody, and she was like, I really just can't wait to be, doing more of what you're doing. And I looked at her and I was like, you will. And then I stopped myself and I said, no, you are. You are. Doesn't matter like the audience size. It doesn't matter the reach. It's like, you're just doing it. And so when we get that and we believe that, then it just multiplies. The universe conspires. And I know I'm not unfamiliar with lacking belief in any way, shape, or form. 17 years ago, would never in a million years have believed that I would be here, right now, with all of you, that I would have had the career I've had, the life that I've had, the husband I have, the child I have. Nope, never would have believed it. And there's one moment in particular I can think my way back to. I'm 24 years old, and I'm sitting in my white, beat-up Toyota Corolla. And I'm adhering to alternate side of the street parking regulations in New York City. If anybody knows New York, you have to sit on the side of the road until the street cleaners come behind you. Very sexy. So I'm sitting there and I'm in my white beat up Toyota Corolla, and I'm just shielding my eyes from the sun, and I'm drinking this Gatorade. And I'm coming down from the night before. I have not slept. I was just at an after-hours party about 30 minutes prior. No business being behind the wheel. And I'm just in the car and I'm pressing play and rewind on my cassette tape. Play, rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind. Over and over, I'm listening to the voice of this psychic medium who I had had a reading with 5 months earlier. And I hear the psychic's voice say to me, "You're struggling with drugs and alcohol." "It's not that bad," I respond, quivering, literally. And she goes on to say, "My dear, you have two choices in this lifetime. You can choose to stay on this path and really suffer, really struggle with addiction. Or you can choose to get clean and sober and make a major impact on the world." Play, rewind, play, rewind. You can choose to get sober and make a major impact on the world. Play and rewind. You can choose to get sober and make a major impact on the world. And I feel her words, and I want that truth, but I don't believe it. I don't have any proof of how that would be possible. I don't believe I'm worthy of that. I'm afraid to even contemplate what it would take to get there. And I just kept pressing play, rewind. Then I noticed the street cleaners coming behind me, and so I have to move the car across the street. I park the car. I look outside my window and I see all these people with their shoulder bags and their coffees and their dogs, and they're all walking somewhere. They're going to work. They're doing something special in the world. And I'm going nowhere. I'm going nowhere. And I sit in that car and I just chug that final Gatorade. I throw the Gatorade bottle on the car. I step out of the car. I walk across the street to my studio apartment that's on the ground floor with the garbage cans outside the window. I get into the shower. The shower is kind of like crusty and moldy, and I just let the water just flush down my face. And I'm seeing this mascara just dripping down my eyes in the mirror. At which point I take some kind of downer just to fall asleep. And I get in my bed with that downer, waiting for it to set in. And I start to feverishly journal in my journal over and over and over again. Get sober and you can make a major impact on the world. Get sober and you can make a major impact on the world. Just over and over and over. And I hear the clanking noises of the garbage cans outside my window, and it just gets softer and softer and softer. And the pill starts to set in. The anxiety will subside until I wake up later. I think my way back to that girl, 24-year-old girl, with a stack of self-help books next to her bed, her journal in her hand. And I can think about how her belief and her faith were stronger than her fear. And in that experience of knowing that she could transcend that addiction, that she could transcend the traumas of her past and step into the light of who she was here to be.
Rule number 3 is be present.
The concept of be present, it's just thrown around. And it's this concept of just sort of, when you meditate and you quiet your mind, you're fine. But really what I believe is when you go on the journey of undoing the storylines of your past and to such a point and level that they no longer have a hold on your nervous system, and you begin to reorganize your reactivity and your relationship to yourself and how you respond to the world, then you start to establish what is known in SE, somatic experiencing, as a felt sense. It's a felt sense of, and what that means is, I can stand outside my house in the country right now at this season change and smell spring. I can look in my son's eyes and feel the most insane rush of oxytocin move through my heart when he just looks me in the eye. And that's actually not the human experience typically. Typically, we are moving so fast, so dissociated from, so checked out from. We have disembodied. We're walking around like, without our heads on. And I could only say this because I've lived like that for many, many years. And had to work really hard with my meditation and with my spiritual practice to keep coming back to groundedness. And so there's a lot of that yo-yo of like, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in. But what if you could live life just fully in the presence of where you are in every given moment and truly taking it all in? And that was always sort of like, oh, that would be so, that's where we're going. That's what we're talking about in spiritual books. But I know that now. And I know that you, as my friend who's known me for 6 years, I'm sure you can feel that in being with me in this room right now versus 6 years ago. And so, and I've had that experience even through writing this book, my 9th book. That presence came through is infused in every imprint. And so I didn't think this was where we were going, but it truly is what happiness is to me. It's being in the experience of things.
Yeah.
And actually being able to experience life.
Rule number 4 is slow things down.
And we end as we begin. Legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Well, the truth is, there's no ending. There's no beginning. Today we started, beginning like we always do, with our eyes closed, imagining going into the future. Only you can do that. Only we can do that. It's all possible through the power of our mind and our thoughts. But we have to control that mind and those thoughts. Because even they are not who we really are. To control our minds, to master our minds, we have to simply be here, now, present. That's our super determination. Imagine all of us united with our thoughts, mind and body as one, all together, right now. That in itself is infinite intelligence. So as we end today, with our eyes closed, our back straight, our legs crossed, we know the truth. We're not really ending. It's never really over. We were all born to win. To be happy, peaceful, loving, kind, caring, mind wealthy, no matter what. That's the truth. The way we do that is now. Right now. That's why they call it a presence. This is the greatest gift we have. Right